Welcome to the Power of Offense with Keith and Rodney. And today, yes, we said it, is right there in the title of this video that Kevin Samuels said that black people are immoral and uncivilized. Now, keep in mind, Kevin Samuels is not the only person saying this. No, he's not. Keith and Rodney here at the Power of Offense is saying the same thing, that black people, right, we at large, are immoral and uncivilized. And we're going to prove that as we go through this video. So let's get started. Fair use, fair use.
You ladies have bought into the propaganda that men are down here and you're up here. That is a change. For people who want equality and equality of opportunity, you darn sure don't want equality in how you look. It is rare that I hear a woman speak of men in a positive light.
All right, I just want to stop right there real quick. I want to give everyone a plug, right? In case you haven't heard it, we actually did a video stating that Kevin Samuels, right, whether he know it or not, obviously he understands the principle behind the 14th Amendment, Section 1, which is called the Equal Protection Clause. This is where everyone has equal opportunity, but not equal outcome. All right. That's what he's kind of touching right here. And I want to throw that out there because we're putting a link in this video for y'all to go back and check it out if you have not heard it. All right. But let's keep going.
Equally, even equal, much less positive. Most of the times women speak of men and it's but that's what you hear. Men ain't shit, men ain't this, men are trash, men are this, men are that. Okay, well, unless you plan on getting with the same sex, what you gonna do? And as this show has proven day in and day out, week in and week out, the modern problem in relationships doesn't seem to really be falling in the men's place. Women don't seem to know what they don't know what they bring to the table. Don't seem to be able to quantify what they bring to the table, but know darn sure what they want to extract from the table. The inability to choose and the inability to stay and make a relationship work. What was the statistic? We're going to go over this. We're going to talk about this week in Valentine's week. In Valentine's week, black women are the only group that have a higher divorce rate than a marriage rate. With nearly 31 divorces per thousand nearly 31 divorces per thousand married women age 15 and older, with 17.3 marriages per thousand unmarried women. In short, that's darn near double. Divorce rate is twice as high as the marriage rate. Now, there are a lot of factors that could go into it, but the fact is it needs to be addressed. And we're going to have to get to this too. One, why are you so scared to be a mother, but you're not scared to be a baby mama? It's easier to be a baby mama than a wife. I'll have your baby, but hold on, I can't be your wife. We're going to get into that too. It's easy to be a baby mama, much easier to be a baby mama. I'll have a baby, but his wife, oh, that's too major. Let me think about it. And then you got a marital rate and you got a divorce, and you divorce twice as much as you marry. Those are going in the wrong direction. If we're going in the direction of where it's easier to have a baby before you get a husband, to now it's okay and now it's even cool, to where you're more afraid to be a wife than a baby mama. Think about how often you say, oh, you're too young to be married. You're too young to be married. You're too young to be married. 24, that's too young. But you don't tell her she's too young to have a baby.
Now, I want to stop right there, Rodney, because again, to me, when I hear what he's saying, like he said, they tell her she's too young to get married, right? This is what is being told. Older women tell younger women this all the time in the black community, right? But they never tell her that she's too young to be a baby mama. Now, again, to me, what he's saying now, Kevin Samuels did not explicitly say that black people are immoral and uncivilized. No, he didn't. But the interpretation of what he's saying, and we're going to prove this in this broadcast, is that he is saying, right, that black people at large are immoral and uncivilized. Yes, he is. Just like federal Supreme Court, and of course, Keith and Rodney. What's your take on this, Rodney?
He's making some good points. Everything he's saying is pretty much true. And my thing is, I agree that we at large act uncivilized, just as all the other gentlemen that you mentioned said. But I think what's more important is why we act that way. You know, Kevin Samuels said something that I thought was brilliant. He said the propaganda. I'm saying the system of racism and white supremacy. You know what I'm saying?
Agree. I agree with you, Rodney. I agree.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's like hitting the nail on the button. So, but I do believe and know that even though we're bringing this out, and Kevin's bringing it out, which is a good thing, but at the same time, we need to we bringing it out because we want to inform those who are acting in this manner to try to take a conscious look at their conduct.
Right.
And then once you're able to take a conscious look at your conduct, then you can look at your environment to see, am I a product of my environment? You know what I'm saying? What make me act the way I act? Why do I go to a beer store? Is it because a beer store on every corner of your neighborhood? And,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So once we awaken y'all with, you know, the people at large, like the critical mass of us are lost. You know, they're confused and they caught up keeping up with the Kardashians, tweeting and twatting, like following the yellow brick road. And that's what everyone is trying to express to our people at large. So yes. Once we really understand that, right, then we can get deeper into the why and then be able to defend and walk our way out of darkness, because that's where we are. We're in a dark, sunken place.
I agree. All right, let's keep going.
And then the only group that have a higher divorce rate, higher than the marriage rate, 31 per thousand versus 17.3 thousand. I mean, 31. Yeah, if you divide that, let's do some quick math. 31 divided by 17. Wow, almost 2 to 1. 1.82. For every one marriage, you got 1.82 divorces. So it's almost 2 to 1. Where do we go with that? Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at men who talk about this stuff. Don't get mad about men who bring these things up. Don't say you're bashing women or it's toxic or this or that. Ladies, what are we going to do about this stuff? If you want different outcomes, I'm afraid to get married because marriage is in a divorce. That's what somebody said the other day. But who's filing for? But divorce rates are so high. Yeah, but who's filing for the divorces? It's not men. So if women are filing for divorce 70 to 80% of the time, and then unmarried women are seeing this divorce rate, ladies, who are you blaming? You can't get mad at the men. The men aren't walking. That's not.
Now, I want to stop right there, Rodney, because I'm like this. I agree with him. Ladies, don't bash us men for talking about the facts. All right. Now, it's ridiculous that we do have more divorces than marriages. You know what I mean? The amount of divorces is almost doubling the amount of marriages in our community. Right. And I'm like this. Don't get mad because we're talking about things that y'all don't want to hear.
I agree. And if you look at history, and see how the black child was raised in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and in the 60s, how that black community was strong because the man did his job, the woman did her job, and the result was positive children, right? Now, if you look at even a little later, get to the 70s and 80s, where you see an influx of drugs and narcotics and alcohol and bad development, social welfare, all these things targeted our community as a whole. The Vietnam War, that's what got rid of the civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? Whatever was left of it, even though our civil rights were honored in 1866, not 1965. If you deal with that one, that's why we're here. Right. But that's a whole nother conversation. But the that breakdown, whenever you start to see the attack on the black family, where the man started getting on drugs, started getting incarcerated for doing crime, and therefore they start putting the woman ahead of the household. So now the woman has been the head of the household for a couple of decades now, and look at the results of our children. As the women are the heads and the men are behind, either locked up, on drugs, all based on the system. We can't blame anything other than the system.
But I did want to say this, because a lot of what you said, again, encompasses what we're talking about, that at large, black people, our people, right? We are immoral and uncivilized. Now, I want to show everybody something. All right. Now, check this out, y'all. Right here on your screen, we have a case from the federal Supreme Court. Now, this case is Maynard versus Hill, 125 U.S. 190. And this case is from 1888. All right. So it's Maynard versus Hill, the federal Supreme Court. And this case is from 1888. Now, we want to hear what this federal Supreme Court has to say. And the reason why I want to hear what they have to say is because the federal Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. All right. Now, these justices are supposed to be some of the most intelligent legal minds about. All right. Their duty is to interpret American jurisprudence. So we want to see what these intelligent people are saying. Now, we're not reading this entire case. We're only going to read 2 sentences. That's it. And we're going to start with this one, and I'm going to highlight it for you. Matter of fact, this particular one, we're not even reading the whole sentence. But it says, marriage, as creating the most important relation in life, is having more to do with the morals and civilization of a people than any other institution. Marriage, all right, let's go through this again. Marriage creates the most important relationship in life. The most important relation. Let that sink in. It has more to deal with morals and civilization of people than any other institution. So what are morals, right? I think we should look this up, Rodney. Yeah. And I have a definition for moral. A moral, right? Matter of fact, we're using it as a noun, so we need to read it as a noun. So moral is a lesson, especially one concerning what is right or prudent, that can be derived from a story, a piece of information, or an experience, right? So moral. Now, if we're describing moral as an adjective, morals are concerned with the principle of right and wrong behavior and the goodness or badness of human character, right? So marriage preserves morals, right? Marriage preserves the rights and it helps keeps us from the wrongs of human behavior. That's what I get from it, Rodney.
Yeah,
and this happens through experience.
Exactly, and I kind of go back to the story and say that we actually forgot that marriage is the most important relationship in society and community. Marriage and a family, a strong family, builds a community.
Yep.
Right. So the fact that our community has been broken down, attacked purposely, and marriage is no longer significant, and we have people saying, well, I have a baby by you, but I don't want to marry you.
Exactly.
That's immoral and uncivilized. That's why they had back in the day, if you laid down and had sexual intercourse with someone, and as a result, that woman was with child, they had a thing called a shotgun wedding. Mm-hmm. You're not just gonna have sex with my daughter without making a complete family. You're gonna get married, or I'm gonna put this shotgun in your ass. That's the definition of a shotgun wedding. That's our people supporting and protecting the institution of marriage through moral and civilized acts.
Exactly. And that's old school right there. I remember my old man used to talk about that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now civilization, right? Because we gotta give them a definition for this too, is the stage of human, social, and cultural development in organization that is considered most advanced. So basically, civilization is advancing human, social, and cultural development. So the fact that we have women, again, like Kevin Samuels was saying, that we have older women telling younger women, right, that it's okay to be a baby mama rather than to be a wife. That means that our people are immoral and, in this case, uncivilized. You know what I'm saying, Rodney?
And it's based off, like, to sum it up, well, I'm gonna say morally, no pun intended, is that our people are just confused. And as a result of them being confused, it could lead to someone saying, you're not moral and you're not civilized based on our conduct. But our conduct is truly based on confusion.
Right.
You know, we are confused. We have been confused for some time. And we've been confused by the hidden hand that Keith talked about, by the propaganda that Kevin Samuels talking about, and the system of racism and white supremacy that I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So once we understand that, we can move forward and progress forward. But until we understand that and we keep dwelling in the belly of the trap that we're in right now, we're doomed, because what they're setting us up for is to save their race. You know what I'm saying? So they can get rid of the black man, uplift the black woman, trick her, and then they, like Kevin Samuels asked, well, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? What they're going to do is go to the white man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And when they go to the white man, they're going to have brown and white babies that's going to be melanated enough that with the racism ideology, right, that's going to save their race whenever we're trying to neutralize that race, and science is annihilating them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Is he Rodney? It's crazy. I didn't mean to control. I'm saying it's crazy because, you know, like in the clip I did, in that particular video about Goldman Sachs and that $10 billion, I played a clip from Kevin Samuels where he talked about how our women are being weaponized against us, how they have been trained to marry their job, to marry the institution. And this is exactly what a lot of them are doing, man.
Yeah.
And they enjoy it. But my thing is, you're proven to be uncivilized. See, they don't understand it. So this is why we laying this out in this video right here. We showing you the facts. And see, one thing that's different about Rodney and I is that we don't just talk. See, most of the people that get up here on YouTube, right, and have all this philosophy and rhetoric, et cetera, they just fucking talk. That's all they do. They don't show you the screen. They don't show you the facts of where they're getting their information from. They just talk. We actually show you the facts. And again, right, the federal Supreme Court said this back in 1888. They defined marriage. They defined it. And this needs to sink in to our people's head, because you had this whole pump and dump thing. And I'm like this. I understand the whole pump and dump. I get it, y'all. I used to do the same thing. I'm the first to say all women ain't meant to get married, just like all men not. You know what I'm saying, Rodney? Some women are for the streets. That's true. But it can't be all of them. It can't be 70% of them. That's my point. We have a problem. We need at least half our people married, man. We do.
Yeah, and I think once we become unconfused, we won't have the women in the streets. You know what I'm saying? It won't be a choice, because all women, they would be trained from children how to be a young lady and how to be a woman. You know what I'm saying? So we won't have the conduct or behavior that we have out of our young girls and boys. You know, all because of the parents just don't know.
You're right. Because again, Rodney, and I want them to see this. So y'all need to see this. Look at the screen. We're going to read this again. Marriage as creating the most important relation in life, right? Like the shotgun marriage. You ain't gonna just get my daughter pregnant and don't marry her. This is what it used to be in our community. That's Rodney just broke that down. It has more to do with morals and civilization, right? The advancement of us, the education, the enlightenment of humanity, right? Than any other institution. So the government can't fix our problems, y'all, is the point. That's not the solution. The solution is for us to come together and marry each other. That's the solution. And this is why I support Kevin Samuels. Regardless of any of the other stuff, I support him because he supports marriage. You know what I'm saying, Rodney?
Right.
And that's the solution.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It was something you said I was going to comment on. I forgot what it was. Hope it come back to me. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. I agree.
Now, check this out, Rodney. I want to pull up the next sentence in this case law. Most important sentences, in my opinion, based upon what we're talking about, is these two sentences. We read the first one. Now, the next one is this. It says, it is an institution. So they're talking about marriage. Marriage is an institution, just like welfare is an institution. The welfare state is an institution. So is marriage. It says the institution of marriage, right? And the maintenance of which in its purity, the public is deeply interested. For it is the foundation of the family and of society, without which there would be neither civilization nor progress. So what I get from that is this, is that marriage, again, is so important. It's so important to a society. It's so important to humanity that without marriage, we wouldn't even have civilization and there would be no progress. So all of these beautiful buildings and amenities we have and access to resources wouldn't even exist if marriages didn't exist. And we know this through experience. Life experience. The institution of marriage is the oldest institution known to man, even older than the church. You know what I'm saying, Rodney?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. That's absolutely right. That's just something to just put on their minds, and hopefully it will change. Well, it's gonna have to change. We don't have a choice. Either it will change or just be annihilated.
Exactly.